Looking back at the time when I was all alone, searching for the one that I could really call my own. I don't know if I should trust myself. Would he hear me, if I needed help? There's something on my mind. Everybody falls sometime. If I were in pain, I'd ask myself then, would you catch me if I fall? And if you wonder, I know I'm sure I will catch you if you fall. I will catch you if you fall. If you fall, I will catch you if you fall. Crossing chords, crossing lines, I did the best I could. I'm prepared, I'm so down, suddenly there you stood. And I promise there is nothing that I wanna change. Without you I'm incomplete. Do you feel the same as me? There's something on my mind. Everybody falls sometime. If I were in pain, I'd ask myself then, would you catch me if I fall? And if you wonder, I know I'm sure I will catch you if you fall. If you fall, I will catch you if you fall. If you fall, I will catch you if you fall.
Mayday, I'm falling down, baby. No parachute lately. I've been falling, be my saver when I need you now. Yeah, when I need you now. You be speaking my name from your mouth. To all you friends, I'm free falling. You better pick me up from the ground.
If I were in pain, I ask myself then, would you catch me if I fall? And if you wonder, I know I'm sure I will catch you if you fall.
Catch you if you fall, catch you if you fall, catch you if you fall, I'll do. Catch you if you fall, if you fall, catch me please. I'm falling down.